So I want you to take the next, bro, however long you take. Honestly, you could take 30 minutes. I don't care. I'm sure you're familiar with the process of the psychology of a sale, but I want to know what's Aiden's psychology of the
Yeah.
sale. And you don't have to go through like the exact wordplay unless you want to. I
Yeah.
want you to go through like intro. How do you build value? What questions do you ask and why? Any tips and tricks?
Yeah.
Just basically go through your whole psychology of the sale, bro. I'm gonna let you take the floor and kind of give
Yeah.
people a master class on the working veteran. And he works veteran leads too, by the way,
He's
for
better.
content. But go ahead.
So intro again, like I just went over it. Biggest question there is you want to get the objection of I have coverage out of there. You don't want them to tell you that. You want to ask them. So that's why I asked the question. Hey, I'm assuming you're like most people that already have coverage in place, correct? And I'll say correct because I want them to say yes. If they say no, then it's an absolute laydown, and then you just go back into beneficiary. But if it's, and if we're being honest, Trey, as you know, it's probably 70% of the time it's going to be a yes there. So it's your next question is, hey, were you looking to save money on your current rate or were you looking to add on coverage? What I've found out 60% of the time it's going to be add on coverage because not a lot of people want to mess with their current policies. And as an agent myself, I don't want to mess with perfectly fine policies either. I know there's a lot of people out there that like to, but that's besides the point. I get that answer. They tell me if they want to save money or if they want to add on coverage. Again, 60%, 70% of the time, it's going to be adding on coverage. Then from there, obviously with the leads, with lead labs, you have the beneficiary. Okay, gotcha, Trey. It looks like you listed down your daughter, Susie, as your beneficiary. Is that correct? Gotcha. Now, like you said, we're just looking to add on coverage. Is there something specific that had you looking to get additional life insurance coverage on top of what you already have? Would that be like a big mortgage payment, car payments, or was there a death in the family that made you think you were under the impression you didn't have enough coverage? From there, it honestly is a lot of under the impressions of not having enough coverage. So my next question from there is going to be, okay, gotcha, John. So kind of under the impression you don't have enough coverage in place. And how much were you currently covered for? A lot of these people are going to be under 20,000 in coverage, I would say, unless they have a term. Term, it's a different route from there. I'll kind of touch on that in a little bit, but let's say they have $25,000 in coverage. Okay, gotcha, John. So obviously, I'm assuming you're leaning towards a burial. Is that right? Yep, that's right. Okay. Are you aware of how much that typically costs you nowadays? No? Okay. It's anywhere between 10 and 20,000. So you're definitely a little bit underinsured. We just want to make sure we're leaving a little bit of funds behind for your daughter just in case there is any other expenses that popped up, right?
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay. And then also another thing you can do there, if they have coverage, they don't want to use it for the burial. My question there is, let's say he has $20,000 in coverage. Okay, gotcha, John. So we just want to make sure that that $20,000 in coverage, that goes straight out to Susie. And then you want to have something specifically in place to cover the funeral expenses. That way she doesn't have to pull from that other policy or pull from your savings. Is that right? And I'm sounding exactly how I am right now on the phone. I'm long verbal pauses, talking very slow. I really want them to think that I'm not reading a script and I'm literally just talking and having a conversation with them because if you're reading a script, especially on high intent leads, they're going to hang up on you. From there, after you build the why, I'll go over a little bit of term as well. It's kind of the same way I just handled that. Okay, gotcha, John. So obviously you want something permanent. The term's going to expire on you. We both know that, right, John? Yep, I'm aware of that. Okay. And then, John, are you also aware of how many term life policies actually pay out percentage wise? No, I'm not. Okay. Well, John, if you actually go ahead and you can fact check me on this, less than 3% of term life policies actually pay out. Does that make sense? And I'll go dead quiet.
Why do you do that? I know why you do that, but for the agents that I
Yeah.
don't want them to skip over that. But can you
Yeah.
explain, bro? Give us an explanation on why you actually say that.
So the biggest reason I say that is because when they're filling these ads out, they're looking for a definite payout to their wife, right? And then the other way I explain it is, hey, you're giving yourself a 3% chance of your wife receiving that money. And I'll go dead quiet. I had a guy yesterday I sold. That was the whole point of it. We got the packages. I go, okay. He's like, I have $150,000 in term. I go, hey, John, that's great that you have that. That mainly term is for your working years. Essentially, you're giving yourself a 3% chance of your wife actually receiving any money after your passing. Because I assume you don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon, right? No, I don't. Okay, gotcha. So that's why we're looking at definite payouts for her. I know it is a little bit less coverage. The reason being, John, is because these insurance companies, they show you that big $150,000 coverage. They know in the back of their head there's only a 3% chance that they have to give you that money. Now, the reason they're not going to give you as much coverage on a whole life, John, is again, you can fact check me. It's a guaranteed payout to your wife. They know for a fact that they're going to have to pay this money out to you. And John, these insurance companies, they're billion-dollar companies. They make their money on term. They don't make their money on whole life whatsoever. Does that make sense?
That's
But
gambling.
the real reason I'm explaining it to them like that is when you tell someone, hey, your wife has a 3% chance of receiving that $500,000 in coverage, you're gambling. You're better off throwing like $150,000 on a blackjack hand. Like, if we're being honest, like that's kind of my look at it. And if you explain it in the correct way like that, you'll get these guys literally dropping their coverage to a whole life because they know, hey, I'm 70 years old. I'm probably going to outlive this term. Yes, it's not going to be as much coverage, but I know my wife's going to get this money. And that's my biggest concern today is to get her paid. And if they want to keep the term, but supplement some whole life in, and you can explain it like that. Okay, perfect, John. If we want to keep that 3% chance of payout, we can perfectly fine. We'll keep it right there. If you're comfortable with that on a monthly basis, that's fine. But we need to make sure that your wife is getting something guaranteed to her after your passing for the funeral expenses at least. Does that make sense? Gotcha. And then I'm right into it. So that's kind of like intro objections that you're going to get. Then my process of the sale, I'm asking them their income, how much are you bringing in per month? Most people we work with are on fixed incomes. I'm assuming you're the same way, right? Right. The reason I asked that question is to get a price objection out of the way. So they tell me, yeah, I'm on Social Security. Okay, gotcha. Most families we work with are on Social Security. So typically affordability isn't too much of an issue for us. How much are you bringing in per month? They tell me, okay, gotcha. And then did you have a comfortable amount that you were budgeting for that we want to keep this premium under? Is that under 200, under 150? I go quiet, I let them answer. And then right there, you know how to build your packages out. From there, health questions. And also the biggest thing I want to touch on was specifically high intent leads is you have to build urgency. You have to, because they're going to give you a package rejection if you don't. Health questions is where you build urgency. Trey, do you have diabetes?
No,
No? Okay. Gotcha. Any cancers that you dealt with in the past?
no, super healthy.
Super healthy. Okay. Gotcha. And then within the last 5 years, has there been anything major pop up as far as your health goes that you're a little bit worried about that doctors have mentioned to you?
Yeah, they said something about like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, like I had a tough time breathing and some family history, something like that. But outside
Gotcha.
that, no, they didn't actually diagnose me with anything.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, I'm a straight shooter, and that's kind of the way that I like to do my business. I want to be fully transparent with you for you. That sounds like a early diagnosis of COPD. And if you go back to the doctors in a couple months and they give you that diagnosis, it's going to be pretty damn hard to get you approved here. Let me see what I can do for you. Okay. Are you on an inhaler or anything like that?
Yeah, I had asthma as a kid growing up, and I don't really use my inhaler like that anymore, but
Yeah.
I did have one at one
Okay.
point.
I hear you. I had someone on the phone with me yesterday, same situation, but they actually ended up getting pretty hard to get approved there. And they said the same thing. You don't use the inhaler though, right?
No, 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 not anymore.
Gotcha. I wish it was the case, but they are going to see that in your MIB report. Okay. That I'm literally doing that to them, and that right there is going to build them urgency. I'm doing that with any medication. I don't care if it's high blood pressure medication. Oh gosh. And has there been discussion on putting you on any other medications, or you're just sticking with that one there? And the answer, it's gotcha. We'll see what we can do for you. After I ask all the health questions, I think this is probably the biggest part of avoiding objections for social. So I literally, and my biggest thing is you're essentially want to hold their hand through the whole process. You're the professional. Look at yourself as a doctor. In a doctor's office, you go to the doctor's office. Doctor's talking, you shut up and you listen. You probably say 10% of the conversation when the doctor comes into the office with you. It should be the same thing after you get through health questions and kind of build rapport on beneficiary. So from this point, I have the stage, and there's a book called Psychology of Sales, and they talk about putting the spotlight on somebody. So in the beginning, the client should have the spotlight. They should tell you why they're looking into it. You're just sitting there asking them questions. After health questions is when you get the spotlight. So right after health questions, okay, gotcha. So before we do move into the packages here, I am going to explain how the process is going to work. Obviously, it's not like going to the local grocery store where we see it, we like it, we buy it, Trey. We do need to get you medically approved. Now, what the carriers are going to take a look at here is what's called the Medical Information Bureau. That's going to be an MIB report, which is tied to your social. That's going to be a collection of your medical records, hospitalizations, and also your prescriptions over the last few years. Obviously, Trey, it's not going to be up to me to give you the approval. It is strictly going to be up to the carriers. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep. And then from there, I'm going to send over a credential card to them. to validate that. But the biggest thing there is your tonality. I could have sped through that. It's not like going down to the grocery store, going to MIB report, social. They didn't hear anything you just said. You have to slow your talking down there. Verbal pauses are the biggest thing. Make sure that they're actively listening to you. And then I'm going through my packages. I'll pitch it. If I get an objection there, I'll go over a couple of objections. So I got to talk to my wife's going to be the biggest one. Okay, gotcha. And when you do go talk to your wife, is it kind of which option to go with, or if you even need this? Because I know you did mention that Susie can't afford the burial expense. Is that right? They're going to say, yeah, that's right. Okay, gotcha. So with that being said, then it would kind of just come down to which option to go with then. Is that correct? Again, I'm doing verbal pauses there because you have to make them think that you're not reading a script and you actually care. Yep, obviously it's which option to go with. Okay. Gotcha. And John, do you mind if I make you a recommendation here? No, go ahead. Okay. Gotcha. So John, what I would recommend, and I recommended this to anyone, rich, poor, middle class, is always starting with the lowest option. Main reason, John, that's going to do two things for you. One, it's going to get you fully approved. And two, it's going to make sure if something were to happen to you tomorrow, there would be something in place for your wife there. Okay. And what it's also going to do for you, John, is it's going to allow you to go speak with your wife, figure out if you want to move up from here, move down from here, whatever that may be. But the main goal today is to get something in place to cover the final expenses. Is that correct? They're going to say correct. And then when you walk them down like that, I literally give them the option. Okay, John, and with that kind of being said, I mean, I would assume that it probably makes the most sense to just start with the bronze option then. Is that right? And I'll stutter there. And they're like, you're dumb if you say no there. I would say 80% of the time, if you navigate a package objection like that, they're going to say yes because they feel dumb to say no. You just told them what they're going to do. You're going to start with the lowest because you know that that's comfortable because you got their budget 10 minutes ago asking them what's a comfortable range. My lowest option is going to be their absolute lowest. So if it's 100 to 150, my lowest option is going to be 100. My gold is going to be 150, and then silver is going to be something in the middle. I know he can afford that, so it's not going to be a price objection. The only objections you're going to get there is I need to think about it or my wife. And then if you break it down like that to them and make it make sense, because again, you are the professional, a wife objection, and I need to think about an objection. What they're saying there is they're asking you for what you think they should do. If you're professional through the whole script and you get a budget for them, you go through their health questions, you build them urgency, and then you explain exactly how the process is going to work with the MIB report. If you get an objection about needing to think about it, they're really just asking you, hey, what should I do here?
That's a
And then
wonderful frame, bro.
yeah.
I never heard anybody break it down like that. Like, because as you're talking, I'm like, damn, you can keep going, but that makes a lot of
Oh
sense, bro.
yeah, but that's the biggest thing. I think package objections. If you I mean the sale isn't made at the packages. It's made way before on the beneficiary and the budget. The biggest thing's the budget because you don't want to show them something they can't afford. Like even if you have one option that's out of their budget, they're gonna freak out and say no and get off the phone. So I think the biggest thing with high intent leads is you have to show them something in their budget. I don't show them anything over their budget ever because they told me they can afford it. I don't want to charge back. And I want to make sure that they're covered as well. So it has to be affordable for them. And then going through social, again, if you're keeping a professional tone and you're being a professional and you send them your credentials and you already told them before you went through packages, hey, the MIB report, I'll kind of go through my last portion. So, hey, pick a package, they pick bronze. Okay. Gotcha. What we're going to do, we'll send in a request. I'm going to confirm some information with you. We'll list down a payment method and choose the best effective date for you. Does that make sense? As you can see there, again, I told them, hey, we're going to list down a payment method. You're getting ahead of that objection. They should not be surprised when you get there. I'll confirm first, last name, all that stuff. And then the way I like to approach social is, okay, and then what's going to be the best mailing address to mail this out to your home in hard copy form? Okay, perfect. And what's going to be the best email address for you? Okay, John, and I give everybody the option here. Would you want to receive a paper policy packet or an email copy? Paper. Okay, and were you born in the state of California or were you born elsewhere? Born elsewhere. Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm going to take a wild guess here, just judging off the fact that you were born in Massachusetts, living out in California. I mean, I'll go off on a limb here, John, and I would assume you are a U.S. citizen, right? And they always laugh at that, right? And you're social. So I'll do that again. John, being born out in Massachusetts, living out in California, I would assume that makes you a U.S. citizen. Is that right? And you're social. If I get an objection there, do not ever overcomplicate social objection. They are literally just asking to be comforted. So I have to give you that? Yes. Why do you need that? It's for the medical report. I don't feel comfortable giving that out. It's for the medical report. I'll go 2 rounds of it's for the medical report. It's for the medical report. I'll go dead silent. The same guy sold yesterday with a 150K term. He gave me a social objection. I think the line went silent for about 10 seconds. I didn't say a word. You can't say a word there. The first one to speak there loses. It's for the medical report. They give you 3 objections there. And then I'm going, like I said before, John, it's for the medical report. The other main reason there, have you ever seen a death certificate? No, yes, whatever it may be. Gotcha. And as you saw on there, it's going to be the first and last name, the full social security number, and also the cause of death. So God forbid when you pass away, what your wife is going to do, she's going to take that death certificate, she's going to give it to the insurance company, they're going to match up your social with it, and that's how she receives the money. Does that make sense? Yes. Go ahead and confirm your social. But I don't overcomplicate social objections. If you're professional through the whole script, you're going to be fine. You shouldn't get an objection there. And if you do, it's again them just asking for validation. Do you need the full thing? Yes. Can I give you the last 4? No. I'm not saying anything else, but yes and no. And then it's for the medical report. Banking objections, you shouldn't get banking objections. Honestly, it's going to be, it's coming down to a trust issue at that point. That's going to be you not being professional through pitching your packages, asking health questions. You're getting a little too comfortable with the client. You became their friend. If I asked you for your social right now, are you giving me it?
100%.
You said yeah. Oh, not your social, your banking information, right? Yeah,
No,
you're not going to give your friend your banking information. You would give, let's see, you would give the doctor to pay you. You'd probably pay your medical bill, right?
yeah.
You'd pay your insurance bill for your car insurance. Same thing, but you have to be professional. Like when you
Right.
set up your car insurance, you're probably talking to an agent that made it seem very professional. Same thing with health insurance, life insurance. Yes, it is kind of like it's an emotional sale, and some of the guys you'll get on the phone with, they want to like goof around, but like at the end of the day, like this is a serious topic, John. You don't have coverage in place. If you die, your wife's in debt. Like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we trying to talk about what you did for work? Or like, I think you need to keep them on a very professional, regimented process, the whole sale. If you're getting a bank objection, it's trust. And that's the biggest thing. And I think when you're too friendly with some of these guys, I've had it in the past when I first started, it's like, yeah, I love you so much, this and that, but I just can't give that out. It's because they don't trust me. But fast forward a year, I don't really show that much emotion on the phones, and I'm taking it very professional with them. And I get to banking, if I get their social, I handle an objection there. Again, that's just asking them for me to validate myself. It's for the medical report. I'm not going to give them no BS there. I'm not going to go on some big tangent about why I need it. When you get to banking after you handle an objection like that, which stone cold, you're probably not going to get a banking objection. Best one I like to do is if you do get a banking objection, keep in mind there's people out there that just won't ever give it out. Had one of those this week. You ever had someone come out to your house and do some work on your home? Yeah, I have. Okay. You probably paid for it with a check 1 or 2 times, right? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So John, on the bottom of your checkbook there, it's going to be your routing number, which already auto-populates on my side. If you're looking at it right now, it should start with 2560. And then also after that routing number ends with 28, your account number starts. So that plumber, did he ever steal any money from your account? No, he didn't. Yeah, that's right, John. So this is an electronic deposit. As I showed you, the premium was the 67.27 cents. So once we put this on file, that is the only premium that's going to draft, nothing higher, nothing lower. And if it is higher, John, I will be putting myself in jail. Does that make sense? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, go ahead and confirm the account number. That's my biggest thing. And then some people are like, am I approved yet? Me personally, I don't tell them they're approved until I have banking. The reason being is because a lot of these people like to lie on their health complications. So I don't want to tell them a price they can't qualify for. I'm going to find out in a couple minutes. Like from running like an Americo app, obviously you get the approval before that and they'll let them know if they get select one. But handling bank objections, again, it's more of a trust issue there, or you didn't build a big enough why. That's going to be the other thing is like, why am I buying this again? Well, no, I drilled it in like,
Yeah.
I actually do want to touch on one more thing and then on the script, then I'll be all good. So building the why, you need 3 verbal confirmations of yes. So John, is your wife in the financial position to cover an expense like this between 10 and 15,000, or is that why you're looking at it? Well, that's why I'm looking at it. So there's one why. Okay, gotcha, John. And God forbid if you didn't have something in place, how is she going to go about covering that? Take a loan out, maybe ask family for help. Oh, ask family for help. That's another why. Okay, gotcha, John. And just to make sure that we're on the same page here today, our goal is to get something in place to cover the final expenses and also maybe leave a little bit of money behind for your wife. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. So that's 3. I don't really like moving unless I have 3. If you're building it off of, if she's in a financial position, no, and you move on, That's not a why, and you're going to get a banking objection. But that's kind of my process of my sale. The biggest thing is tonality and professionalism too. These guys want to be able to trust someone. They want to know that their wife's in a good point. When they die, they can call me and I'll be able to help her get her money. So that's kind of my process.
Yeah, dude, 100%. First of all, thank you for going through that, bro. That was graceful.